Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Project Morana, where nothing bad is going to happen. We're all gonna be fine.
Call of Cthulhu is like the pink fluffy, like plushie, right? I've only ever seen Cthulhu in like the cute way, and that's the entire.
Oh, yeah. See, it's gonna be cute. Yeah. It's gonna be fine.
Is this a Wanderhome hack?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but before we get into episode 3, which we've been waiting for, because not only has episode 1 and episode 2 both ended with the same scene but different vibes, we don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to get through the things and then we're going to throw it over to Kelly. So first and foremost, we would like to thank our sponsor today. Thank you, Roll4It. I don't know why I animate during this part because I always have like a thing over the scene, like no one can see me. But thank you, Roll4It, for supporting us. If you're ever curious how we do our rolls and our character sheets and things like that, Roll4It is making it possible because that's a lot of maths. So, yeah, thank you. You can check out Roll4It. We have links below. You can support them. Also, we have merch. Check it out. designedbyhumans.com/shop/roll4 is where you can check out all of our merch. We have some sweaters to get you cozy for the fall season. It's happening! The pumpkin spice has arrived! Yes. And of course, we would like to just note that there may be things that will trigger you in this episode. If that is the case, we understand if you need to step away, or if this show is not for you, that's okay as well. And we would like to thank our supporter, Jackson Decay. Thank you so much, Jackson, for supporting today's episode. If you would like to become a supporter like Jackson, you can become a legend tier or above over on our Patreon, where not only do you get to support an episode, but you get to play in a private GM'd game. Kelly's been GMing them right now, which has been pretty exciting. And we also have a whole bunch of other goodies over there, like character sheets if you want to check out our character sheets, after shows that we record after every episode, and a ton of other goodies that have been from thousands and thousands of episodes of many, many shows. So binge away, good friends. We also have Twitch here if you want to subscribe to us over here. You can also use your Amazon Prime to sub to us as well if you're not using it. Otherwise, Jeff Bezos gets the money, and that's, you know, that's the thing. You can also become a YouTube member over on YouTube, and you get some emotes similarly to the Twitch emotes. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or Patreon supporter, you get access to our private Discord where we always enjoy chatting with y'all. And I think Papa Tim has been posting our rolls and stuff in there, which has been really intriguing to see, like averages and stuff like that. How lucky are we really? I don't know. And of course, actually I do know because Papa Tim has done the math. Non-monetary ways to support us, there's quite a few, because we understand not everyone can support us in a monetary way, and you should take care of you and your people first and foremost, because inflation is crazy. You can watch us live right here on Twitch, and while we're live, you can make clips, because you can only make clips while we're live. I don't know why, but that's how it works. So please make clips. We appreciate it. We use them in our social media and things of that sort, so we always enjoy them. You can watch over on YouTube, subscribe, like, and comment over there, as well as follow us on Twitter and Facebook, like, share, retweet, and comment on all the things. And we understand some people are like, but I don't have a lot of followers. It doesn't matter. Make the algorithms go. It requires a lot of people interacting with things. So the more you interact, the more people will see our stuff, and then maybe people will come watch us so that we can keep telling amazing stories with great characters. And with that, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Kelly. Take it away.
I just wrote on a piece of paper, psychology equals insight. Oh, you can't see that at all.
It's just like a white block.
Just to remind me. All right. The date is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. The time is 11:50 p.m. Nate, you stand in front of Tilly's Inn with the blistering cold winds brushing up against your exposed calves and poorly dressed for this weather clothing. You look out into the parking lot that you had just parked to, and see coming out of a car, still slightly illuminated by the interior lights, a man. And as we've covered before, you initially get struck with a wave of nostalgia. Your heart almost stops and your stomach drops from underneath it. But then that moment passes, and you see in front of you who must be Liam Thorne. He is about as tall as his dad. His hair is, his hair is about shoulder length. It's thinning slightly and sort of unkempt. Out of the pocket of his well-worn navy winter jacket, he takes out a patchy gray toque and pulls his hair underneath it. You see him immediately frown and shiver, and that spark of his father sort of fades away. Instead, you see someone carrying weight. He loses some height as his shoulder slumps, and he closes the car door. He sort of looks up at you and gives like a half-hearted smile as he approaches. And the light from Tilly's Inn casts deep shadows on his face, making him look gaunt and hollow. You must be Neftali. You don't look very dressed for the weather.
Yeah. Nate. Nate.
Right.
I go to shake his hand.
He takes off like big fluffy mitts and sort of reaches out and grabs your hand, and you immediately feel sort of those like the wrinkles along the interior of his hand that's sort of like dry, indented, almost feeling the fingerprints up against your palm as he shakes your hand. And he pulls back and puts it back on, sort of like shivers a bit. Are you... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's you. You look just like your dad.
Yeah, I get that. Must be kind of a shock for you then.
Yeah. It's been a while. Nice to meet you, Liam. Is this the right spot then?
Yeah, it was a bit late. The storm's getting pretty bad. We should get you inside. You look frozen.
Yes. Nate had not really been like I think he was just like whoa. Like when that happened, he sort of lost track of what was happening around him, and then he kind of was sort of frozen to the spot. And as soon as that is said, he's sort of like internally thaws himself out and heads towards the inn.
And even in his voice, he sounds genuinely excited to see you, but tired. And as he approaches Tilly's Inn and opens into that weird grafted entrance of the inn, the early aughts diner aesthetic dramatically shifting to the rustic wood cabin interior, he sort of lets you in and then walks ahead. He takes off his jacket and toque and puts them on a clothing hook near the step leading into the dining area. And for a moment, it looks like he's almost forgotten about you as he absentmindedly walks towards the older woman behind the bar. He greets her and kisses her on the cheek.
So who, excuse me, where am I staying here, or am I the only one? You said there were others, right? Who else did you,
He doesn't seem to hear you as he's already in the middle of like exchanging pleasantries, and you slowly take in your surroundings as you sort of pan over the interior, stopping only when you see a table with 3 people seated at it. And you, of course, recognize 2 of them immediately.
I think upon seeing the 3 people there, I think seeing Liam come out of the car, there was a distinct sense of deja vu, because it was similar to the circumstances under which I first saw his father. And so there was that moment of like, I almost was about to ask if he had any boxes he wanted me to carry. And now he's just sort of moved on. It's like, oh, okay. And now I look over and they're once again transported back, I think, to a living room with way too many kinds of chips there. And like those same faces, much younger, fewer wrinkles, maybe hairstyles different and different styles of dress. But I think I instantly recognize two of them, and then I look at the third. Would the third one also look familiar? Because I get the impression that they might.
I guess that's up to you, Carl. Do you think you look similar enough that Nate would recognize?
Like at a first glance?
At a first glance, I think you might see features that are similar, but the hair is very different because I have very red, curly hair, and my father had long black hair that was normally like tied in a ponytail. So, but you can see it in the eyes. If you end up talking or seeing their face, their eyes are identical.
I think seeing the three of you brought on such a flood of emotion that at the initial glance, I see your face, and then my brain again flashes to that photo of me on the hockey team with my arm around your father, Andy. And I think to myself, like, oh, he changed his hair. And then there's like a moment of like, wait, what? Like, it doesn't quite add up. Like, wait, why is the hair's different? You look like you're sitting different. You look younger than he would probably look. And then there's like and I think I just, without realizing, walk over to the table. Like, as I'm thinking this, my body sort of moving of its own accord, I unintentionally begin looming over the table, just sort of looking at you, taking all three of you in visually.
Are you looking at Carl?
Primarily Carl, but also like the group as well.
I think Carl leans over to their mom and is like, Mom, there's a guy walking over here and he's staring at me weird.
I don't even look up, and I just say, I'd recognize that lumbering footstep anywhere. And I like gesture a cheers to the person approaching behind me.
I look down and say, good evening. Hey Marie. Hey everybody. Hi. It's
Lovely to hear your voice, Nate. And I'll put my glass down, get up, and like go to hug you. If you'll allow it, but I'll just be like around your midsection.
I can't really hug back. I just sort of slightly bend my arms and place them on your shoulders as you're like bloop, like face in belly button.
Look who we picked up, a cat, stray cat along the way. And I gesture to Laura.
Hey Laura, good to see you.
Nate, Laura just looks shocked. So I scoot out of whatever chair I'm in and I go to give you a hug, but something in the back of Laura's mind is thinking about how I didn't get a hug from Marie, and leans in to give Nate a hug, but just seems very disconnected as she's hugging you.
I think as you're hugging me, I think I have kept up with your career a little bit. So I think the hug I give back is a little bit even tighter. And I'm like, hey, I liked your latest, the latest CD that you guys made. I tried to buy it, but they don't really sell them that much. So I had to go online, U-Tune or something. But it was good.
Oh, and it kind of snaps me out of it a little bit. And I kind of almost melt into the hug a little bit just from that squeeze tighter. Oh yeah, they stopped doing jewel cases. It's harder to get CDs made, so now they've moved to do. Kids want vinyl nowadays.
Vinyl, like records?
Yes, and so there's a whole market for that, but not CDs right now.
Man, kids today are a bunch of nerds.
You should have reached out. I would have given you anything you wanted.
Oh, I guess I didn't know if you'd have wanted to, reconnect. Past, the past is the past. People move on.
Laura's looking you.
And I just interrupt Laura. Just say, this is my kid, Andy. I don't believe the two of you are. Oh my goodness. Carl, sorry, slip of the tongue. This is Nate.
I think
sorry, Carl.
Carl is a little like taken aback by that mess up, which I'm gonna let you know out of character. That happens all the time. Moms mess up names all the time. I think this is probably not the first time that's happened, but it's just not comfortable for Carl, and Carl's already uncomfortable because there's more than one other person near Carl. You can tell that Carl's not moving from the seat and is just kind of standing there and just lifts their hand up and awkwardly waves at you.
I had extended mine, so I'll just sort of awkwardly withdraw
and then
turn it
Carl
into a wave
realizes
back.
you were gonna shake and then puts their hand down to shake. Oh, sorry.
I reach out again, but reach way too far and grab your forearm.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. So you're Andy's kid.
Yep.
I look over at Marie, looking back and forth, and I think there's a moment of did they get divorced? And I'm I don't say, I just think to myself, and I'm
if it weren't for Laura, we wouldn't have even made it this far.
Oh, did you drive?
No, you two crashed.
You crashed?
A little dinged up. It was nothing.
There was something.
Found them on the side.
Street.
There's a bit of dried blood on the forehead of Marie, and a few bruises that are starting to form on Carl's face as well.
Oh, you got a little. Wait a second. Didn't I see their car on the way here as well? Did I pass their car? Yeah, I think that wreck looked terrible. Wait, right here. I'll be right back. And I'm gonna go over to ask whoever is in charge, whoever I can see, if I can get a little bit of water and a rag, because I see the blood on Marie's head.
As you walk over, the sort of muffled background conversation of Tilly and Liam sort of becomes more clear. And you hear Liam say, before I forget, Jack's on his way. He seems pissed about something. And Tilly looks over and says, when is he never not pissed? What is it about this time? And Liam, just as he's about to talk, is when you show up. And he sort of looks over and he says, right, sorry, Nate. I had to tell Tilly something before. Did you need something?
Yeah, I was wondering if you had, so I need a rag with some water as well as some hydrogen peroxide, and I'm definitely gonna need if you have some frozen peas or a frozen steak as well. We got some injuries over here that need to be treated.
I can get the med kit. I think Tilly's got one in the back, and Tilly sort of nods as Liam leaves the bar and walks, and there's a door on the side of the bar that he pushes through to get to the back. And this very short compared to you older woman looks up from behind the bar and sort of smiles. And immediately seeing this, it's the warmest welcoming smile that you've felt in years, as if you are an old friend that's returning. And she kind of looks up and she says, well, you must be Nate then.
That's me.
Liam only described about the half of you. You're much bigger in person.
Which half?
I'm going to leave that one. Do you need a drink?
You know what? Yeah.
You look like a beer guy?
Yeah, I'm a beer guy.
All right.
I sort of glance peripherally down at my belly.
She you hear the crack of a fridge open, and she pulls out a mug that's already starting to chill a bit as she pours some beer from the tap. And by the time she slides it over to you, you see Liam coming out from behind the bar with a red med kit.
I will take the med kit and say thank you, and I'll take the beer and I'll say thank you. How much do I owe you?
Just put it on my tab, Tilly. And maybe some coffee. I gotta go talk to them. And Tilly sort of solemnly nods and sort of puts on a cup of coffee. And Liam breathes deep and looks over. And it's about this time, Marie and Laura, that you get your first shot of Liam, and the breath catches in your lungs as you are face to face with a man that you haven't seen in years. Someone that you would swear at first glance is Benjamin Thorne. And all noise around you starts to muffle a bit as Nate returns to the table, followed by... At this point, you start to realize it's probably Liam.
During what happens next, I would like to start performing first aid on both of them. I have a lot of experience with this from years of coaching hockey. So should I roll anything? Should I roll first aid for this?
Yeah, go ahead and roll medicine. Or is it medicine?
There's a first aid also.
Oh, there is a first aid.
Go ahead and roll first aid then.
All right, because I can do first aid. I'm not so good at medicine.
Yeah, that's right.
I can do both, supposedly, if I roll.
Oh
no. That was close. 62 out of 50.
Versus 50.
Close.
Murray, I think what draws you out of your sort of stupor is this immense pain as Nate pushes hard on your scalp, and you realize that something has been injured there pretty badly.
Are you a surgeon?
No, I hockey coach. I help with the kids.
I'll just let Carl take care of me. Thanks, though. It's so lovely to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm gonna pull up a chair and then sit next to, if I can sit somewhere so that I'm situated between Laura and then maybe across from Carl and not real close to Marie.
Sure. And as you sit down, you sort of stop blocking Liam, who at this point you see is wearing almost like a waffle print turtleneck sweater that's sort of, he keeps rolling up the sleeves as they fall back down. And he looks like he's patiently waiting for his time to talk. And once you sort of settle, he says, Hale, sorry, it's just been, the weather was pretty wild. I just had to make sure with Tilly that everything's set up for you tonight. And
it was very generous of you. Thank you for covering our stay.
Of course. You were doing this as a favor. That's the least I could do.
Wait, who are you?
Liam.
Is this... Oh.
We talked on the phone.
Okay. And I just stare at his face because he looks so much like his father.
And as Liam sits down at the table with all of you, the date is Thursday, January 5th, 2023. The time, 12 a.m. So you're all probably still a bit confused. I tried to explain as much as I could on the phone, but seeing this place sort of sets the mood a little bit more, I would imagine. As I said, my name is Liam Thorne. I'm Benjamin Thorne's son. He passed away mid-December, and I called all of you to come and do what best we can for a final send-off. You were the people that apparently were most memorable to him, and if you have any questions, I'm here for a bit. I'm a little bit drained, but I'm usually up this late anyways. He sort of sits there quietly. I don't think you need to raise your hand.
Should I just ask it, or?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't. If you don't mind my asking, how did your father pass?
It's a fair question. Well, I don't know if you knew him too well, but he's always been a bit sick. He ever since I was a kid, I remember anytime he got sick, it took a while for him to get better.
Would I know that he was sick when, like, was he sick back in the day?
Not that you remember.
Okay.
It was honestly probably why my mom left when I was younger, and sort of had to support each other. But
sorry you had to go through that.
Thanks. I appreciate it. But he got pneumonia or the flu or something, and just didn't get better. Of course, we thought it was maybe COVID, but the town sort of shut down a bit in 2020, and we didn't really have much in or out. So we were pretty sure it was just run of the mill, and this one didn't get better.
That's interesting. I don't remember him really being that sick when I knew him, and I sort of look around at the group, like, I don't really remember. Like, he was pretty healthy back then. I mean, things change, but you know.
Marie's gonna get up and go to the bar.
All right. As you leave, you pass Tilly, who's bringing a cup of coffee to Liam, who kind of nods and thanks her. And she begins walking back and catches you. Is everything all right?
Oh, yes, thanks. And I'll just down my double whiskey. I just needed another one of these.
Right. I gotcha. Do you need any food? We don't have the kitchen
fine.
running, but we have, like, sandwich. Okay. Well, let me know. And she begins pouring you another drink. Liam sort of, like, looks back as Marie leaves, and then looks to you all. I would like to learn more about him while you're here, but I also think you guys should probably have a chance to rest. As I said, there should be 3 rooms ready for you here, and then there's a couple people from the community that have offered up their house if you have to stay. I guess I should explain what we'll be doing tomorrow, or later today, I guess. Yeah. So as I said, he died officially December 12th. It took me a bit to look for any signs of a will, at which point I started calling you all. I tried to get Marie, but her publisher didn't put me through. Thanks again, Carl.
Yeah, if there's anything I can do to help. Like I said, I understand kind of what it's like. You know,
yeah, just being
watching
here, I think will...
your dad get sick.
Yeah. Samuel, our doctor, preserved the body and held it in the morgue for until we could organize this. And tonight I moved him up to his home by the falls. Tomorrow, sometime in the morning, a bunch of us will be driving up there, yourselves included. I can get a ride for you if you need. And we're gonna have sort of a celebration of life, basically a blowout. Everyone's gonna talk about what they remember about him. We're gonna go over the will and what he left everyone, and basically
Awake and a will reading, I say, as I head over back to the table, kind of like placing my body in the corner and not sitting down.
Yeah, it's as I told Carl on the phone, it's not official will reading. It's we didn't get any lawyers involved, which was part of the agreement with my dad. He didn't really like lawyers. It's more of a community. It's his way of giving back, I guess.
Sounds like your dad was a nice guy.
He could be.
Are there more people coming besides us from out of town?
There's supposed to be. He mentioned you specifically, but he had family outside of town that I called in. They should be arriving tomorrow before everything starts happening.
Was there a reason for why each of us? You know, like, I don't know, it just... Was there, like, a reason?
As I said, you were his closest friends. He mentioned you specifically, and I don't know. He said you were in some sort of cult.
It wasn't a real cult.
What?
I figured as
Cult?
much.
It was a chip cult. It's like the first time I think we all met.
Yep.
A chip
Well,
cult?
not all of us. I'd known your parents from before, but I look over at Laura and kind of give a little smile. It was first time we met.
True. Yeah, I guess, you know, Marie and Andy and Nate knew each other, and I and your father met everybody for the first time.
It's about this point that a sandwich is placed in front of Marie. And Tilly sort of snuck up on you and sort of smiles and puts her hand on Liam and gives it a little squeeze and then walks back to the bar.
Thank you.
Anytime.
I hand Carl half of this sandwich.
Does anyone else want anything to eat? They don't keep the kitchen open this late, but she's got stuff in the fridge.
Could I get us a couple of sandwiches?
Sure. I'll be right back. Sort of
I'm not really
stands
hungry.
up and like downs the rest of his coffee.
And Carl will slide over the half of the sandwich to Nate.
Oh, thank you. I pick it up and sort of launch into it, and then I think for a moment. I pause as I'm taking a bite, and I go, "Officially?" And I look at the others, and I say, "He said officially dead, right?"
Also, why would he said he moved the body tonight from the morgue? Don't you have to keep bodies on ice?
I mean, have you seen it outside?
I mean, it's cold, but is it cold enough?
It's weird. You're right.
Do you think he's in the car?
Like a Weekend at Bernie situation?
Exactly.
No.
I'm just gonna lean and try and look at the car, just like.
You hear off in the corner from. You didn't notice, Nate, but there are two men sort of sitting and talking off in the corner at a table, and then says, "It is pretty fucking cold out there." And then just goes back to his conversation.
So he heard, like, just out of character, he heard us.
He heard how cold it is.
I lower my voice even more. This is weird, right?
At least she's nice.
Yeah, it's weird that you guys are talking about a dead person like this.
I panically look at Carl and then look back at Marie.
Yep. You're right.
You catch Tilly handing more beers to the men in the corner as she grabs
Carl
their
will-
empty glasses.
Carl will lean in and be like, "Did you guys really know this Benjamin person?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The chip
Okay.
code thing is true.
Yeah.
That was in our shoebox apartment.
No. I met him one of my first days at college, and yeah, we were in the chip cult. I swallow
Right.
very hard.
Why didn't you ever talk about him before, Mom?
Oh, you know, friends come and go, and
All right, so she only had one sandwich left. Here. Oh, you got one, Nate. Laura.
I just take the other one as well. Just-
I'm okay, and I reach in my bag and pull out a protein bar, and I'm gonna just start opening a protein bar to eat.
I look over and say, "You cutting?"
Perfect.
No, but these are fast and make easy meals.
Mm.
here, and I'll hand you the second half of my half of a sandwich.
Laura eyes your glass and then looks at you. I think you need it more than me.
I don't need it.
No,
I don't
Please.
need it.
I don't need it either. So you might as well eat it, you know?
It's good.
It'll be good. Just it's like a midnight snack.
Literally.
Liam looks like stunned a little bit looking at the two of you talking.
Carl also.
So we have each of you in your own, well, most of you in your own room. Nate and Laura, you each got separate rooms, and then we got a queen for Carl and Marie. Tomorrow, one of our officers, Riley Kwan, offered her place to Carl and Marie. I figured the two of you could be fine sharing a small home, and Nova Hogan and Oliver Kane offered their place to Laura and Nate. It's a 2-bedroom. Oliver's also kind of a pretty big guy, so he might lend you some actual winter clothes, Nate, if you need them. I can check with him tomorrow.
It probably won't be necessary. Like, I'm gonna stay obviously for the celebration of life, but I'll probably hit the road shortly after.
Do
Okay.
you know a place I could get my car repaired or get someone to?
I could maybe get Jack to go out and tow it.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thanks.
He should be here soon. I can probably ask him before he heads out.
Who's Jack?
He's kind of like our work guy. He does stuff around town.
Handyman?
He's pretty. He kind of. He used to be a park ranger. He had an
Nice.
accident, but it didn't really slow him down too much. I don't think he has an official job here. He's on the council.
What kind of
The
council?
city council?
City. It's a town council. We work on a weak mayor system where technically Marine is the mayor, but has no real power or anything.
What's the population here?
2 250 somewhere. Last I checked.
250 total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that
Small.
weird?
No, it's just
Quite
small.
small. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Lake Morana is and he kind of points to a wall off in the distance, and you see vaguely dark shapes along it, and he sort of calls out, Tilly, can you get the lights? And you see her like in the middle of making drinks and sort of like shrugs at him, and one of the guys sitting in the corner sort of gets up, still holding his beer, and walks over to the bar and just flicks a light, and you see 3 spotlights sort of illuminate the wall, and see that it's a founding of Lake Morana like information board. And Liam sort of like stands up and walks over to it. So sorry, I haven't had to do this presentation since middle school. We were founded in 1912. There's a few of the do you know about the ready-made farms in Alberta? They offered free farms for people coming, but they sucked, and some people got fed up with the sort of shoddy organization of the colony, and they decided to sell their land and venture out looking for a unoccupied paradise that they apparently heard rumor of, and turned out the lake actually had, and he sort of like points at like almost like a cycle of like fish and like eggs and stuff. It actually had a pretty abundant like fish spawning, and the mountains provided like protection from harsher weather. First Nations people apparently didn't use the land or want to live here. Settlers sort of brushed it off as superstition, but lucky for them, I guess. It's kind of like a strange nexus, and he points at this map, and you can now see that the lake itself is fairly large, and the Lake Morana town itself is on the east side, and there's sort of like a peninsula that sticks out and a small island just off the coast, and there's quite a few rivers sort of branching off. Fish apparently come here, and due to the less harsh weather, they would spawn, I guess. But it was enough for, people to settle here, and there's a few land that they set up crops and stuff, and it was self-sustaining for a while. They actually made it a resort town, and sort of points at the tiny little island. This is a chapel, kind of. It's an island that people could go to and get married. The lake was really nice during the summer. They built chateaus or chalets. My dad lived in one of them.
As Marie finishes eating her sandwich, she's gonna take the napkin, trying not to draw attention to herself, and reach into her purse and grab a pen and write something down on it and fold it up.
All right.
While this middle school presentation is going on.
While this is happening, Nate is going to once again instinctively raise his hand, looking at Liam.
Yes, Nate. In the front row.
On the way here, I met does this place have, is that town like haunted or something? Does it have like a bad reputation?
Haunted?
Well, because you said that the First Nations people didn't want to use the land, and on my way here, I had to stop at a gas station, and the lady there, she seemed to think that coming here was a bad idea. She said I was already too close. So
yeah,
too close to what?
The town.
We don't have the best reputation. Some people think that the instinct to not settle here wasn't current, but more prophecy. The place kind of went south and Carl disappeared. Oh no, Carl. The
It's
present.
Carl will be back.
Yeah.
I can hear.
I-
I just need to pee really quick. I said it in the
I got
chat.
you. I wasn't looking at the chat. But yeah, the weather got worse, and the mountains started creating more of a wind tunnel. Fish spawn shrank with the fish population going down, and tourism kind of left, and the town's main economy kind of went with it. But by that point, the infrastructure was already in place, so Lake Morana could survive with like outside help and stuff. The people that did stay would, pretty much work as much as they could, and a lot of them went to work on the oil sands in Alberta or southern east Alberta, and
What
some
is
didn't
this
really come back.
gas station person? I think this is probably the gas station right outside town.
Yeah.
I mean, I
There's a lady
understand.
there. The clerk, she was a lady.
Yeah, like I
So-
said, the locals kind of think we're cursed. It's just,
'Cause-
global warming and bad luck, I guess.
But you said there was a prophecy?
That's the.
Was that
Sorry,
about the fish?
I don't believe. For the record, I don't believe any of this. I don't. Well, I know times and what happened are true, but they believed that they weren't being told to not settle there because the land was cursed. Now it was warning them of a future date that
Okay,
you don't
so
believe that.
the
You don't actually
future
believe
date.
this stuff, do you?
What was the curse?
I mean, look
We just-
around. 250 isn't a resort town numbers. Half our population works remote when the internet works, and a lot of kids just don't want to come back once they get out.
I mean, it's
So-
it's a small town. I mean, I grew up in a small town. Yours is a little bit smaller, but you make do.
Yeah. I don't know, the people who stayed, they're closer. Like, I know Tilly, I know everybody that runs shops here.
You haven't wanted to leave? You didn't want to get out?
I need to take care of my dad.
I couldn't
Alright.
wait to get out.
Seems kind of
Art.
nice. Less people. I think I would like that.
Does it seem like he's telling the truth when he says he doesn't believe this narrative that he's just spun to us?
Let me check my note real quick. Can you roll me a psychology for me? And we're actually going
terrible.
to. So here's the
90 out
thing.
of 40.
Oh.
You're too drunk.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind because you might actually succeed. So the way that I was sort of playing fast and loose last episode, but the way that opposed skill rolls work is both parties roll, and then you compare the level of success. Now I don't know if he's gonna fail that
by
hard,
like 50.
so we'll see. Let me just pop open. He's been talking for a while, so I'll go ahead and roll persuasion. Did that work?
It
How
hasn't
do I
shown
roll?
up.
We
for me
didn't
yet.
see it.
We
but
don't
that
see
might
it,
be
but
the
I don't know
point.
if you're rolling privately or.
I'm not rolling privately. Hey guys, we're new to this.
Tech
I'm new to this. Just
issues.
figuring out. All right, I'm rolling.
Oh my god!
83 out
Oh,
to 10.
90 versus
83
40.
to 10.
93 versus
I
10.
win!
You he doesn't believe. He doesn't seem good at communicating. You get the impression that
Same.
you are the first non-Lake Morana people that he has talked to in a long time. And he is doing his damnedest to try to retain any degree of communication. When he says he doesn't believe, he almost waves it off as sort of not ignorant. He kind of thinks a little less of you for thinking that you might believe that it's real.
And do I get any sense about him mentioning that he's taking care of his dad here? Do I
Yeah.
get any sense of that?
This is a sad tired, overburdened man that is talking to you.
All right.
So what was the curse exactly?
I mean, they just the colonists asked around as much as they could to find out if the land was safe, and they were just told to stay away from there.
But you said there was like a future date. What's the date?
Again, things just went to shit. I don't know what to say.
You seem
They
pretty
just
well
not
versed. Yeah, in the history, wouldn't you?
Which one? Early.
Can I Google it? And I'm gonna get my
Early
phone
aughts?
out.
Sure. And as you type in the search, you notice that thing where it's not auto completing, and as you hit enter, it starts to spin for a while.
Okay, is the internet not working? Is there there's already no signal. Does the internet spotty, you said?
I mean, that's the real curse, right? The storms kind of make it tough. Usually we can get signals out of the mountain, but when the storms hit, it's pretty touch and go. There's a radio host that can get his signal everywhere somehow, but you'll get used to it.
Honestly,
I instinctively just kind of like look at the phone longer than I should, and I'm going to try to see if I sent a text to Storm, and it probably still hasn't completed, I'm assuming.
It says could not send, hit tap to retry.
And I tap it, and
Just kind of opens up for a sec, and then can't send.
personally, I think it'd be cool. People are too attached to their phones. Especially people my age.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's rough. But no, that's it. It's pretty rough sometimes. Get a bit more signal up in my dad's house. Sometimes going outside helps, but it's pretty
you
cold, so.
Staying there now?
Yeah. I guess it's mine now.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay with a friend tonight. It's kind of quiet up there.
I could see that.
Was there any more that we needed to go over before tomorrow?
What time is it at? Do I have to get up early?
As I said to Laura on the phone, I'm kind of a night owl. No, it's we should be starting around 11. I have breakfast and stuff ready, and people can sort of just come in.
Would you mind if? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I've been talking a lot.
Oh, I was gonna take a little bit of a walk, and I was gonna say if anybody wanted to come, just a little walk around the neighborhood, I guess, and then come back. I've been driving for a while, so I needed to sort of stretch my legs.
I'll come with you.
An evening under the stars sounds lovely.
Okay.
Carl?
Are you wanting to go, Mom?
Well, do you want to go?
Maybe you all should go.
You're welcome to come.
Seems like you guys have a lot to catch up on. What are you doing, Liam?
I was just gonna probably have another cup of coffee.
That might be why you stay up so late.
Maybe.
I usually
I'm
try
staying-
to cut my coffee off at around like 3 p.m.
Yeah, but then you get those headaches.
Well,
Hearing this conversation, Nate's just gonna start like scooching out and standing up like.
I'll start scooching out a bit too.
Yeah.
Once Nate starts.
Well, if there's nothing else to cover, and then say have a good night. I'm gonna clap Liam, or not clap. I'm gonna sort of put my hand on Liam's shoulder and say, "Have a good night," and I'm really, really sorry for your loss.
Yeah, I mean, it really means a lot that everyone came. Enjoy your, and he kind of like looks at you, Nate, still wearing like what is essentially like summer attire, and he's like, good luck.
Yeah, I'll be okay. I have insulation. And I just sort of pat myself and start heading towards the door.
You've got the bags, Carl?
Yeah, I can put them in the room.
And I take your hands and give you a kiss on both cheeks. And you would feel something being pressed in your hands.
Carl
And I wink and follow Nate out of the room.
will look at their hand. What's in their hand?
It's the napkin.
Carl unrolls the napkin under the table and like tries
As the
to.
three of them leave the inn.
Before I left, I think I would have turned and watched that interaction and just sort of continued sort of looking at Carl until I sort of felt Marie and Laura moving towards the door, and then I would have like again pulled me out of it.
Carl looks confusedly at the napkin and then closes it and puts it in their jean pocket.
I think before Laura leaves, I would have, if Liam was not opposed, put my hand on Liam's and just genuinely looked him in the eyes and said, "I'm so sorry."
You can see him like kind of trying to hold back, just like letting go of all of the stress and try to like he kind of gives that impression of someone like carrying something, and he really wants to let it go but knows that he can't just yet. And he sort of like nods at you and thanks you, and then sort of like looks back at Tilly. Oh,
and as it will be okay. Right now it won't be, but it will be.
Thanks. I look forward to the future then.
That's what they always say, but it stays with you.
Tilly, can I get another coffee and whatever Carl's drinking? Just put it on my tab.
I feel like Carl's probably drinking like a glass of milk.
Something stronger, maybe?
No thanks. I'll take a
All right.
water though.
And as the three leave, you hear these orders being made as you gather your coats and stuff and head out the door. And from this angle, the town is still hauntingly Spartan. The snow sort of creates a curtain that gets thicker the further you look ahead, almost isolating you in what feels like a set. And the few buildings that are around you are dark, and you can still see those fancy wicker decorations that have been adorned some of the houses, and a collection of Christmas lights, and you see a menorah through one of the windows. And the three of you stand there sort of biting against the cold.
Oh, it's colder than I thought it would be.
You want some? I take out a flask from my purse. Warm you up.
No, I'm just trying to keep a clear head as much as possible.
And I take a shot.
This town seems really empty.
Right? I mean, it is midnight, but
200 people empty.
listen, I grew up in a town of 1,700. It gets small, but like it's home until it's not.
It doesn't even feel, because you hear about sleepy towns, and this doesn't feel to me like a sleepy town. It feels like it's dead.
It's stuck.
Yeah. What did you all think of... I mean, Liam looks just like...
I know.
I don't feel good about it. I don't know. Something, ever since we got here, something's been bothering me, and it's not the chill.
What is it?
A feeling.
It's like one of your books. It's like you got an omen before you drove into town. Your car crashes. Nothing. I guess I picked you up. I guess I didn't get anything. Too bad.
Thanks for that.
Well-
And I wrap my arm around your arm.
Once again, just kind of a confusing feeling of not really knowing where I stand with Marie.
While this is happening, I'd like to take out my Nokia flip phone and see if I have service.
No, the Nokia flip phone did not have access to Wi-Fi, did it?
I don't. I mean, I think they still released them. I was thinking that I might have a Nokia 2780.
This is still one of the ones that when you go onto internet, it uses your data to connect to.
Yeah, I don't think it even
so-
has Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you've got the 3 bars are currently empty. However, Laura, you hear a ding come from your pocket.
And just it's almost like a instinctive thing. I just reach for my phone and pull it out. But I'm admiring Nate's phone, and as I'm pulling my phone out, they still make those?
Oh yeah, the classic is back, baby.
didn't
Quoting one of
see-
the ads.
You throw it at the wall and it stabs him. You see that your message still hasn't sent, but Storm has sent you, call me when you get there.
And I'm gonna tap my message again.
Nothing. A fleeting bar.
I just got a message. Here, I'm gonna try to make a phone call. And I'm just gonna, like, as adeptly as I can, just like call Storm.
Roll me luck.
Oh boy.
Bum-bum.
Oh boy.
Come on, luck.
Okay.
You had a lot of points in there.
I did. I put a lot of luck because
Yeah.
Laura needs luck. A success.
43
A
out of
43
55.
versus
Finally.
55.
The message doesn't send, but when you press call, there's that tense moment before the ring starts, and then you hear it.
Oh, it's working. The call's working.
Ah,
Laura,
Storm?
you th- are
Hey.
you there?
Can you hear me?
Did,
Storm, are you
You get-
there?
do you get it in?
I got in. Can you hear me? Or am I breaking up? You're breaking up.
Don't.
Hey, if you can hear this, I made it. They have really bad reception. We can't.
Turn back.
What? Storm.
Dee, 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 dee. Call ends.
Oh. There's just something about like hearing his voice that makes her feel a little bit more at ease until he said turn back. It was broken. It sounded like the signal is bad. It was broken.
I got 4G. I think maybe that'll help. I'll flip open my phone. Do I have any 4G bars?
None.
Oh man, sorry. I thought I don't even have any G's. I'll just put it away.
The whistle of the wind almost emphasizes the distortion of any signal in the area. And you can see a faint red blink through the storm that you would know would be a indicator on the mountain so that planes don't crash into it.
I don't know. This just feels like a setup. Like what you're all saying. I got the creepy gas station lady.
mhm,
You had a whole car crash.
mhm.
And now we don't have any phone service.
This could just be a coincidence. It was like broken up on the phone. But he, the only thing I did hear is he said turn back. That could mean anything. Maybe there's like a storm coming in. I don't know. If I could check the weather, I would check it, but
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cold.
Any
Are you
Nate
chance
does
you
not
got-
realize that you meant like use an app. He just thought like
Any
you-
chance you've got any of your famous guac in your trunk?
Ooh, me?
Of course you. You think I want Laura's?
my guac was
Do-
fine. It wasn't as good, but it was fine. It was passable. We know that.
There's only I put a hand on Laura's shoulder and look deep into her eyes and I say, Laura, your guac was okay.
I know. I
But
tried
there's
so hard
only-
to.
There's only one guac master,
It was you.
and he came prepared.
Did you bring
I'd
guac?
like to walk over to my cup and just I have a vat of travel guac.
Good thing it's cold out. As you approach your vehicle, you see lights coming down the main road, smaller than a car. And after a moment, you see a snowmobile pulling up in the parking lot, and sort of just flicks off the light. And there's a pretty large man sitting on the back of it, and he reaches around and grabs something off of the back part of it and sort of unfolds something that you quickly realize is a wheelchair. And he sort of pulls himself onto it and heads on to the back of Tilly's Inn.
I wonder if that's Jack.
Gotta be. They mentioned that he had an accident.
Oh, I was thinking because they said Jack was on his way here. I overheard Liam telling the one lady, I actually didn't get her name, she was real nice though, that Jack was on his way and he was pissed.
Pissed.
That was where they
Drunk or
said.
angry?
I'm hoping just angry because getting pissed on riding a motorcycle, you know, that ain't no joke.
Motorcycle.
When
Was it a
when you-
motorcycle? In my head,
It was a
I just heard you say-
snowmobile. But I do appreciate Nate
my
calling
head
it a
turned it into a
motorcycle.
motorcycle. I would actually know what a snowmobile is. Riding a snowmobile, I would definitely know what a snowmobile is.
When we saw Jack, assuming it's Jack, pull up, what was the demeanor of the person on the snowmobile?
It was hard to see. If you would like to roll a psychology roll for me.
Yes. I
I
would
got
also like
real-
to roll this. Ooh, I have good
Oh.
psychology.
I failed. I got a 74 versus 10.
I got a 64 versus 50. I'm really
So
good
one-
at psychology.
One thing we haven't mentioned yet, mechanically, is that you have a pool of luck, and you can actually spend luck 1-to-1 to increase or decrease your roll to get it closer to being under. So I don't think that Laura could do that with
No.
64 difference. But if you really wanted to succeed this, Nate, you could spend the extra luck to push that down. But it is obviously up to you.
I'm going to save it for right now because Nate's mind is more like, I think there's a moment where Nate sort of looks around and is like, I'm with my old friends. This is surreal. And he's going to say, so, how have things been for both of you? I know, Marie, you've got your books. I see them. I see some of the kids with them sometimes.
With that, we're going to jump back into the inn for a moment. With Liam and Carl, the milk and coffee has shown up. Liam doesn't seem prepared. It almost seems like he's gassed himself now doing his whole spiel, and you see him just slump down even more as he drinks his coffee, and he's not prepared to like initiate conversation.
I think Carl is similar, like awkwardly hunched over the last bit of their milk glass as like the water glass comes over. Sorry, my mom and her friends are being weird. I don't really know them well.
I think that's okay. I mean, their friend just died, so brings back a lot of memories, I guess.
Yeah, but at least my mom never talked about them.
Never?
Not that I can remember.
Weird. I mean, I guess my dad didn't always talk about them. It's kind of like when he got near the end, it's kind of like he was regressing or something. I don't know.
Like
But,
just saying things, or
Yeah.
I feel like my
Didn't make
dad
me-
said a lot of things that he just wanted to make sure that we knew.
It's fair.
Maybe he just wanted you to know.
Hopefully. Was your dad a writer too?
No, he was a doctor.
Oh.
It's kind of why I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh.
Help people.
I didn't even know. That's cool.
Yeah. He was pretty cool. Well, when he was with it, you know.
Yeah. My dad was a painter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any of the paintings, or are there any here?
There's some at the house. He sold a lot of them.
Nice.
He didn't use his real name.
What
He had a alias.
name? Oh,
Renee Gregory. Rainer Gregory? I didn't know how to pronounce it. I always just saw how it was spelled.
Rainer Gregory.
You
Do I
probably saw some of it
recognize
around,
that
like-
name?
Give me just an intelligence roll.
All right. 40 out of 55.
Yeah,
Success.
you would. You probably had one of those coffee table books that was like a collection of Canadian artists, and flipped through it enough times that name sort of jogs your memory.
Oh, I think I might have actually seen something that your dad painted
Oh,
in like a coffee table book one time.
yeah. That sounds
Or
right. He
Waiting
mostly did, like-
room. They always put those books in the waiting rooms.
Yeah, he didn't like that part. But, when my mom left, he needed to pay the bills.
Sorry,
And he made
mom left.
It was early enough. I don't really remember. Plus, when Dad made some investments, we were pretty good after a while.
Nice. What did your dad invest in?
Stuff. Tech. Art.
Nice.
He never really told me, but it was good enough that don't tell anyone, but other than taking care of my dad, I don't really do a lot,
That sounds awesome.
I guess. I feel kind of embarrassed. But yeah, I was telling Nate on the phone that there's I think you guys are probably going to be pretty good.
Oh. To be honest with you, my mom does pretty well too. I suppose I guess I wouldn't have to work if I didn't want to, but
I wouldn't advise it.
really just like helping people. And it
It's nice.
keeps me busy. I feel like when I'm alone sometimes I just get in my own head.
Yeah, I find that, and just as he's about to talk, you hear not a slam, but a hard door opening in the back, and see just a collection of fluffy winter jacket and face covering and hood come into the inn as this man sort of like pulls the hood back and the face covering down. You can see that he's in a wheelchair that has sort of like modified front wheels that have sort of skates on them, or like sled, and like immediately goes up to the bar, and you can hear him like loudly whispering to Tilly, and you can't quite make out what he's saying.
Can I try to
Liam's sort of like,
hear what he's saying?
Sure.
Is that a listen?
You can either try to get closer, sneakily, or go ahead and roll, listen.
I don't think Carl is gonna sneak over, but just kind of like, I think that as we hear like the door thud, Carl looks over at the door, and 16 out of 70, kind of watches this gentleman roll up to the front and kind of just, I guess, is just watching.
You see that Liam like turns in his seat and watches for a bit, and when he realizes that it's Jack, sort of like looks back at you and like waits as you're clearly focused. I brought the damn box out to Fazana, but the lake's too dangerous to cross right now. I told you this would happen, Tilly, if I didn't go earlier. We couldn't go earlier. Nothing was being shipped in earlier. And if she would move inland, it would be fine. At least for the storm, it would... Yeah, well, now it's too late, and the damn storm's on us. Marine and the others are going to have a town hall meeting tomorrow. Let as many people know as you can, but I think we're going to be on lockdown. All right. Well, did you bring the box back? We might need the supplies. No, I left them out there. They should be good. They should keep. It's cold enough. And when the lake freezes over, I'll try to get out there. Don't want her fucking starve by herself. Can you get me a drink, Tilly? I've had a long night. Yeah, sure. And you see him sort of like go up next to one of the stools and just sit at the bar. And Liam's like, as you turn back, Liam's like unblinking, just looking at you.
Well, looks like we might be here longer than expected. There's a storm coming?
I thought this would be better than December. We ironically had pretty mild weather. I'm sure it's fine. We can still do all the festivities, and maybe we'll get a truck out or something, and you guys can get to the city.
But if there's a storm, should we not be doing... I don't know, you've been waiting for a while for it.
I'm fine if you... I mean, we can get up to the falls, probably. I'm fine if you guys stay. I know that Riley and the others are going to be fine if you stay, but they didn't seem too keen on staying.
Yeah. I gotta take my mom's bags up to the room.
Well, yeah. I think you guys basically have 1, 2, and 3. One of them's the queen size. I think it's one, and then the other two is for Nate and Laura. See you tomorrow, Carl. It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too. And sorry, and if there's anything I do, just let me know.
Honestly, at some point, I hope that people stop saying that.
Yeah. I don't know if they ever do. Sorry.
And he sort of stands up and downs the rest of his coffee again and waves at Tilly and says, if you need me, I'll be at Walt's. Make sure to wake him up, eh? And she sort of nods but looks very dour. And he walks to the entrance and grabs his coat and toque and heads out the door.
Carl's like trying to finagle a bunch of different boxes that are all like different sizes and maybe like looping a couple into each other, putting like a couple in their arm and like slowly wheeling their way over to rooms 1, 2, and 3.
You notice that there is like a lift that goes up to the top floor, but it's that awkward moment of like, do you have enough bags to actually justify using it? But once you get to the top floor, you see a long hallway sort of cutting into the back of the building, and you can see rooms on both sides as you find room 1. Back outside, Marie, you can be in the middle of describing what it is that you've been doing to Nate.
I mean, really now it's just the deadlines. They keep creeping up on me. This last book, I feel like I'm at my wit's end, you know what I mean? It's so different from when we were at UBC, and just I think back to how unsure I was of everything, and now I feel like I've done it all. What more can I pull out? But there's always something there.
Yeah, like you seem like everybody changes, but wow, the writing career, it's like you're a star now.
I wouldn't say I'm a star. I would say, well, I don't know. It definitely picked up, that's for sure.
You hear a ding from the front door as it opens, and you see Liam putting on his gloves. Oh, you guys are back already.
Are you heading out for the night?
Yeah, I'm staying at a friend's place. Carl was just bringing the bags up. You might want to talk to him. I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep.
Get some rest.
I'll see you in the morning. Tilly's gonna wake you up. It was nice meeting all of you.
Be well.
Thanks.
And Marie's eyes do not say be well.
You hear the crunching of the snow beneath his boots as he walks off and slowly is engulfed by the curtain of snow as he makes his way up the main street.
Are we gonna talk about how weird this is?
There's
this
just
is weird.
something about him. What is going on?
He drove up, right? Out of character, he drove up. I saw him get out of a car, didn't I?
Yep.
Can I walk over and just sort of, now that he's sort of vanished, can I just walk over and give like a little, like peering into the car, see if I can see like a casket or something?
Sure.
How big is the truck?
Yeah.
So is it a hearse?
No. It's a pretty standard, I don't know, like a Nissan Sonata or something like that. It's heavily salt damaged on the base of it, and you can see that sort of clumped mud snow making its way up into the wheel well. The trunk itself is not that deep. And looking in the back, you see what appears to be like scraps of paper sort of in the like foot area of the back seat. There's like a finished coffee cup in the cup holder. It is not clean in there. And you see what looks like an oxygen tank sitting in the back seat.
But it doesn't look like it would be big enough to transport a corpse.
Not really, no.
I'm gonna turn to the others and say, I've ridden in a few cars when we were driving kids to the hospital. I don't think you have enough room for a full adult body in here.
I mean, do we even think that there is a body?
Well, there's an oxygen tank, so I'm guessing that has something to do with the illness.
Maybe Ben had like COPD or emphysema, you know?
But isn't it weird though that Liam says that he wasn't even really sure what Ben died of? He said
cagey about it.
And that he took care of him for an extended period of time.
Did he say pneumonia? But he said they thought it was COVID, but then not.
He said it might have been pneumonia, or it could have been the flu.
If you're like a caregiver for someone for a long stretch of time and you're taking them to their doctor's appointments, right? Like you are present in their care. Right?
Yeah.
Did any of you see Ben after that night?
I look down, and without even looking up, I just say, no.
I'm in shock.
We didn't see any. I mean, honestly, did we see anybody after that night? So.
Well, I'm gonna swing around a little bit more of the town, I guess. If y'all wanna keep going, or you can go to bed. It's up to you.
I think I'll check in on Carl. But it was nice to breathe the fresh air with you both. I hope we get a chance to really chat a bit more. Connect.
I'll walk with you, Nate. I think we have a lot, all of us, to catch up on.
Yeah, have a good night, Marie.
You too. And I'll head back inside.
As you do, you see now in the dining area, those two men in the corner still drinking and chatting. And you see the man that had come in on the snowmobile sitting at the bar, just sort of nursing a drink. And Tilly is sort of now like leaning up against the sink area and is back to reading your book.
I'll head over to Tilly and who I'm assuming is Jack at the bar. I understand that you're the one that helps keep things in ship shape around here when it gets a bit much.
For a moment, as you start talking, you see Tilly like almost like eye you and like just about to shake her head, but then doesn't catch you enough. And Jack sort of like slumps down his head and rolls his shoulders and looks over at you. Yeah, I'm the guy that if you need anything done, let me know.
Well, a guy that if I need anything done is here for me. I might as well buy him a drink. 2 more, Tilly.
All right. and sort of pours you now 2 drinks. You're just getting in?
That's right. My child's upstairs, and we're here for the celebration happening tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a damn shame what happened. And he sort of like taps his glass on the counter before taking another drink.
Are you... I mean, it's all so cagey. Do you have anything to share about Ben? Did you know him well?
Pardon, what do you mean, cagey?
Oh, just that... I mean, with it being so late, we didn't have a chance to really catch up with Liam.
Yeah, that boy's been through a lot.
I can imagine.
Sorry, which one are you?
Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't introduce myself. I'm Marie. Marie Wilson.
And he kind of like reaches his left hand over his drinking arm and like gives you a half-hearted handshake.
Sure, yeah, I'll meet it.
Now, tell me again, what was cagey about tonight?
Just that we didn't really get a chance to catch up before Liam had to leave, so we didn't get much information about the celebration happening, what to expect. I don't even know what time to wake up. Tilly's gonna do that for me.
Yeah. Well, the last time one of our community members died, we didn't really have to wait for outside people to come in, so it wasn't this much of a hassle, but I don't know how you guys do it, but we like to celebrate the things that we remember about people. And Benjamin was a good man. Took care of that boy, and kind of brought prosperity back to this community. See, we care about people here and care about each other. And when one of us hurts, we all feel it.
Yes, I'm definitely getting the sense of that here. Everyone seems quite close. I mean, with town of 250, you would really know everyone.
That's right.
I think
Is there a follow-up?
Well, it's a bit late for me. I'll just finish this up in my room. And I look at my glass. How much of it's left in there?
About a fourth of it's left.
Oh. Salut! And I'll just drink it and leave my glass.
As you walk away, Jack doesn't turn around, but he sort of calls out to you. I hear you had an accident.
Yes, well, word travels fast.
Kind of like points at Tilly. Yeah.
Fine. Thank God another one of our group was not far behind us on the road.
Yeah. I mean, first off, sorry. I don't think I'll be able to get your car off for a bit.
We heard the storm was getting quite bad, so it's no trouble. We'll deal with that when we can.
All right. Well, enjoy your sleep then. He sort of downs the drink as well.
And I'll head up to my room. Tilly, as I am starting to head up the stairs, which one am I?
You're number 1, dear.
Thank you, I say, slightly too loud, as I head up the stairs.
You hear some coughs from the men in the corner as you pass by.
And as I reach the door to our room, I think the last thing you hear is, "Okay, I have to tell you something," before the door closes.
And we cut back to Nate and Laura walking down the street. Nate, at this point, I don't know what it would take for you to notice how cold your calves are, but you're probably starting to feel it a bit.
Mm-hmm. Man, it's cold as Cream-Master out here.
I never ended up watching that.
It's really something.
How long was it? Was it like a short film or was it like a...
No, it felt like it was years long. I think it was at least like 3 or 4 hours, but I think it was more.
I'm glad I never watched it.
Yeah. I wish I hadn't, to be honest.
To be honest, Ben probably would have been very proud of you.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Are you
so? Sorry, you go.
Just gonna ask, are you okay?
I think there's a moment where Andy normally would respond to this question with a sure, or not. I'm just saying Andy, my goodness. Nate, even Freudian slip. I think Nate would normally respond to this question with a like, yeah, of course, I'm good. But when Laura hugged him and then like melted into the hug, I feel like that may have been the warmest physical contact that he's had in some years. And I think with the rush of emotions of seeing everybody again and having a positive emotional connection with someone that he used to be friends with, I think he kind of looks down and then says, it's been hard. It's been really hard.
Yeah.
After everything, I ended up not really continuing with my career, and I didn't make the NHL, and kind of bounced around different jobs. Right now I'm working as a hockey coach. Yeah, for kids.
You'd be great at that.
Thanks. I do my best, try and keep them, teach them the basics, try and keep them focused. Every once in a while you get somebody who's really talented. I mean, most of them are hopeless, at least as hockey goes. But every once in a while you get that one who's really got that spark, and I just try and keep that spark alive for them, because I've seen what can happen when it goes out.
Laura's like actually listening to you, like stopping, like the world is not really around. It's just like I'm listening to every word that you're saying.
And I'm really glad to get to see you. It's good to get to reconnect. I guess, what's it like? You're a big producer. You got all these artists, and
I got lucky, Nate. Like you, after all of this happened, I threw myself into work. I guess my double major came in handy, music and business. But my label does okay. I got lucky with Teal. They just kind of took off, and then the TikTok sounds ended up working out. But I still go home alone every night. I still go to bed with the thoughts of everything, and I'm feeling like I never actually... I feel like something's just always there behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Things are fine, but are they?
Yeah. It's like it's haunting us.
It's coming back here. I just feel old habits coming back up, just seeing you and Marie specifically.
What happened to her? She's like Bette Midler now.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, you went first. She never used to drink this much.
It's out of control.
She didn't even give me
Like,
a
I
hug.
like to drink, but I'm like 3 Maries.
Maybe it's just, there was an accident earlier. Maybe that's a coping mechanism, you know?
But the attitude.
She's smiling, but is she?
That's it. Her mouth is smiling, and her eyes are looking at us like we're trash.
I know. I don't. I couldn't really be free talking to her because Carl's there, and I didn't want to be disrespectful. You know, someone's kid.
Yeah.
You don't want to just start saying, "Why are you acting like this? You never fucking used to talk to me this way."
I didn't want to say anything about it, but like, if she's acting like this, no wonder Andy left. You know what I'm saying? This, like, I wouldn't. I mean, she was always so nice before, so, you know.
Hey, yeah. I have a little bit of a confession.
Yeah.
So, I know that, like, we all didn't keep in touch. I don't know. I was lonely. I'm kind of things got really lonely after. I kind of kept up on all of you. Like, you know, you were hard to find. Like Facebook and, you know, whatever social medias were around. Obviously.
Yeah, I got one of those. I think last year.
Really? I didn't find. Are you using your real name on it?
Yeah, but like right now, so it made me upload a profile picture, which I used my phone, but they said it wasn't acceptable because they couldn't tell what it was. So they haven't really, I don't have any friends yet. How do you make friends on Facebook?
I will be your first friend on Facebook. When we get internet, I will show you how to use it. I will help you find a picture. As sad as it is, the phone is my only way to connect most of the time. And so I know more about it than I probably should. Also business connections, but if I'm being honest, watching other people's lives is sometimes better than my own.
So does that mean you were keeping up? Did you mean like you've been reading Marie's books? I tried to read one and I couldn't get through it, but I was never much of a reader. So
I never had the heart to read one of the books. I think it just felt, I don't know, looking at someone's profile on Facebook is probably more invasive, but it just felt invasive to read. I don't know why. So you haven't heard from anybody. You don't know what happened to any of us. Well, I mean, you kind of knew what I was up to, so you know didn't keep up with Marie, or? I
just saw the news. I didn't have your numbers, and I didn't know where you all moved to. So I saw on the news, you know, I saw Marie when her books came out, and I of course heard about, you know, when things were taking off, and I happened to, you know, some of my students were talking about it, and so.
So you don't know why Andy isn't here?
No, I assumed maybe they got a divorce.
I grabbed Nate's hand. Andy's gone.
Gone?
Andy passed away a while ago. Marie didn't tell you?
No, she didn't say anything. What happened?
He got sick. He got really sick.
What did he sick? What was he sick with?
He had cancer. I think it was brain cancer, head cancer. That's why Andy's not here.
Andy's dead.
I know you guys were really close.
I thought. I never realized.
Are you okay? I know it's a lot. I only found out because I found an obituary. No one told me.
I have to sit down.
Wanna go back inside, or?
I think Nate fully sits down on the ground and just. I think he doesn't even. I think he just sits down and puts his head down, and you can just hear heavy, ragged breathing from under his hat.
I sit down on the ground next to you. I know.
In this moment, you find that you've sat underneath a streetlight, and the wind has actually settled a bit. So right now, just a heavy snowfall is landing on the two of you.
I thought you knew. I just assumed.
I still have the pictures of us. I never got a chance to tell him.
Do I know what he wanted to tell?
So, Nate, if you would like to roll a persuasion, and Laura, if you would like to roll a psychology, we will find out right now.
All right, rolling persuade. I got a 20 out of 40.
It's not looking good for me. I got a failure, 78 versus 10.
You have no idea. Or at least didn't have any idea.
Tell him what?
Nate, I think, will look up, and for the first time since you said that information, he's gonna meet your gaze. And he'll say, I loved him. I loved him so much. He was my best friend in the whole world. And he was beautiful. And I never got a chance to tell him.
I think instinctively I know it's not love in the platonic way. I know it's hard sometimes to tell people that we love them, even if we want to do it really bad.
I didn't realize it at first. And then the longer it went on, I thought, I don't know what I thought, I just didn't. And then when I realized we were on the team together, and I didn't think I could tell. I couldn't tell him.
It's complicated. I mean, there's Marie, there's a baby. You were trying to do what was best.
He has his eyes.
I know. Ed knows.
Really liked that nose. I think I'm gonna lean over at that point, and without even really, I don't even think it's like a normal like hug. I think it's Nate leans over and just sort of collapses onto Laura.
I try to hold Nate up as much strength as I can muster. Like, this feels like the moment to have it.
I think we cut back a bit and see just the two of you huddled on the ground as the snow heavily falls through the light. The time is 2:30 a.m. Laura and Marie, you have been in your room for a bit talking.
Marie and Carl.
Sorry, Marie and Carl. I wrote that down wrong. You teleported, Laura. No, but
I have new
Carl,
powers.
yeah. Carl and Marie, you've been in your room for a bit now talking. It's a very small wood cabin-looking room. The walls are made of dark stacked wood that meet at the top where there's a cross-section of support beams. Modern hanging lights have been installed, but the floor is an old forest green rug that could use a deep clean. Most of the space is taken up by a rustic queen-size bed, and the bedding looks like the newest thing in the room. On each side of the bed, there's a small wooden side table. The nearest one to the door has an old clock radio. There's a small table with a couple chairs that you've been sitting and talking at. And there's a freestanding wardrobe with a full-length mirror.
I'm sorry that I called you his name. It's just a slip of the tongue.
It's not the first time. It's okay. It's just hard sometimes. And all of this is
okay?
just reminding me of it all again.
Me too. God, he would love this room, this carpet. He'd be all over it.
Really? Why?
Oh man. He always made the best out of everything. I mean, our first apartment was a shithole. It was tiny. We had a 2-foot balcony that we couldn't even put a hanging plant on. And somehow he just made that place feel like a mansion.
Why have you never talked about that before?
It's hard. I don't want you to see me like this. So it's better to just not think about it and just live in the now.
See you like what?
Like nothing, I guess. Same old me.
No, it's different, Mom. You're just different in front of other people. Right now, when you were talking about Dad in the apartment, it's like not the same you that I see every day.
When your dad died, I died too.
But what about me?
We're still here. Do you feel like a part of you left with him too?
I feel like a part of him is with me. Not gone.
That's true. That's very true. He would be so proud of you. He is so proud of you. I know it.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. And I'm sure he's proud of you too. But I don't think this is what he'd want for us.
He wanted the world for you, Carl. Before you were even born. That small apartment, we couldn't even afford it, and he just knew that we needed a 2-bedroom. He was investing in you, in your life, before you were even here. I know that he doesn't want us to be sad, and he would want us to be happy, to be together. And she just like sits back in the chair. I know I'm not always. It's hard for me to not defend myself, to not create a distance between anyone that matters anymore. I just can't feel that hurt anymore.
But
I'm sorry.
I am sad. And I hurt.
I reach out and I put my hand on your hand. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I do. And Carl
I'm
will
here.
hold your hand.
It's some time before Nate and Laura return to the inn. And as you separate, Nate, you're in number 2. And similar to Carl and Marie's, the room consists mostly of wood and drab green. You immediately notice that the ceiling is just too short for you, and you need to turn your neck a little as you walk in. There's a wooden lounge table, or a wooden lounge chair in the corner, and a small desk with a chair and a lamp. The bed is a twin, and you already know that you'll have to curl up a bit as you sleep. On the opposite side of the bed from you is a small wooden side table with a clock radio. And you notice that your stuff has already been brought up.
I think Nate is absolutely exhausted, and curling up is probably the number one thing he wants to do right now. And so he's gonna take off like his shoes probably, but that's about it. I don't even think he's really gonna change. I think he's just getting straight into bed and curling up.
And with a loud creak from the mattress, you lie in bed. Laura, you're in room 3. And as you open the door, you're almost startled by your own reflection as the wardrobe has been set up facing the door. But after that moment, you realize that yours is fairly cozy. There's a low ceiling at the end of the room that sort of rises up to where you stand, and there's an angled storm window nearly dead center of the slant. The blinds are sort of attached to the top and bottom with small bars. To your far left is a single bed that's been placed in an elevated nook with a door on the far end of the wall. On your direct left is a small desk with a lamp, a chair, and a small clock radio facing the bed. There's a colorful, if dim, circular rug in the middle of the room with intricate patterns and shapes. This entire space almost feels like a dorm room in a wooden cabin. And you notice that your stuff has also been brought up and sort of placed next to the wardrobe.
I think the first thing is noticing the mirror, probably taking a survey of the room. Kind of, when you like don't expect a mirror in a room and it's just like kind of jarring because you're like, that's me, but is it me? And it's one of those like, is someone in the room with me? And once I realize it's not, close the door and I lock it and just feel the emotional weight of everything that's just occurred in the last few hours. And kind of, you know how when you're in public, you always try to have like a smile on your face, or at least some sort of like acceptable emotional structure to your face. I just kind of let it all fall. And I look in the mirror and take a few steps closer and just start touching like the wrinkles and the things that reminiscing about college to how I got here. And then after talking with Nate and getting some solace and comfort in the fact that his life didn't pan out the way that he had hoped either. And then the words resonating, I never got to tell him. And so I get my phone out and I can just, the haunting words of turn back are just kind of repeating in my head from the last time. And I'm going to first attempt to text Storm, and it's painstaking, but I type out, I love you. And I stare at it for a second and then just say it loud, I'm just fucking send it. And I send it.
What feeling does Laura have the moment you hit send?
Kind of an impulsive moment for her, a giddiness, a lightness, maybe a little bit of relief, but also fear and dread about what might come back on it.
Roll me a luck.
Oh, a 27 versus 55, a hard success.
Do you want this to send?
I think in a way, she has that, oh, maybe it won't send, but in her heart of hearts, time is finite, things don't feel right, I'm feeling vulnerable. I think she wants it to send.
And as you think that, your luck taking care of you once more, you catch a brief window between low signal where it just catches and sends off. And then your bars disappear again.
The realization it's out there and I won't know what the response is until I maybe get another brief window. I stare at my phone for a minute and then I chuck it on the bed to just be like, I'm not going to look at it. And I want to explore my room a tiny bit. I just want to look around. I go to the window and I kind of want to get a glimpse of what this town looks like from up higher, I'm assuming.
Yeah. It's how tall are you again?
5'7", I think she is.
All right.
I think you're right. Yes.
I remember because I had to do all the art and there was
Yeah.
a whole finagle about heights.
It's a bit tough, but especially wearing the big boots that you are, you sort of elevate yourself enough. And you can pull the blinds. And as I said, they're sort of on those springy bar wires that hold them in place, even at an angle. And it's one of those windows where it has a crank. And if you were to crank it, it would sort of lean in towards you to open at the top. And looking out, the snow has collected quite a bit at the base of the window, but you can see lights here and there off in the distance. It's tough to see through the curtain of snow, but you swear that even looking out onto the lake, you can see the faintest bit of light coming from the island. And despite the ominous and off-putting entrance that you may have had to this town, the comfort of the room around you and the words that Liam tried to impart on everybody, there's that glimmer of understanding that each of those lights mean that somebody isn't alone tonight and has somebody that they care about.
I think Laura would find that very comforting, especially right now feeling isolated and alone. Like once you get back to your room after being with people, especially after a night like they just had, it just feels more lonely than normal. I'm only here at night, so I won't unpack. Is there a bathroom?
There's a communal bathroom out in the hallway that sort of acts as the inn slash restaurant's bathroom as well.
Oof. Well, I'm gonna grab my like toothbrush and retainer and all those things and go brush my teeth in the communal bathroom.
It's again fairly quaint. There's no shower in here, but it's wide enough that you can sort of like lay out all of your bathroom accoutrement and clean up. It's got that feeling of being in a cabin.
Okay. I think I would wash off the makeup, all like the heavy makeup that Laura wears, brush her teeth, and just try to be as quiet as possible and get back to her room. Probably take another moment to look in the mirror now that all the makeup's off and study her face a little bit. And then without anything else to do, she would just go to bed. Check her phone one more time, I think, before going to sleep.
Still nothing.
Okay.
You fall asleep almost immediately. The pillow is so soft, and the blanket is just the right amount of weight. The room is cool enough that you don't sweat, but not so much that your face is cold. And you drift into a deep sleep. At some point, you kind of cough, and you realize that your throat has gotten a bit dry, and you sort of wake yourself up trying to clear it.
Laura would have brought an Nalgene. So I'm gonna get out of the bed though, because I don't know where it is.
You sort of like force yourself up a little bit, and your muscles almost feel a bit sore, probably just from the tough day. And the only light in the room is a muffled blue that only sort of illuminates the area around the window, and a red from the clock next to you.
Oh my god. And
it illuminates 3:16 a.m.
Remind me, that's the time that I got the phone call.
Correct.
I think that's a little sobering when I see what time it is. I'm gonna grab my phone because it's on the bed and turn on the flashlight.
Where do you point it?
Just where I thought my bags were, over in the corner. So I'm just gonna kind of scan it over there.
As the light illuminates the sort of mound of bags, there's almost a strange fur on top of them.
I'm gonna try to crawl out of bed to see what that is.
As you get up, you notice a little bit of like a crunch as you do. Almost like the sheets had been wet and then dried quickly. And you notice like dust in the air in front of the flashlight.
Well, where it crunched, I would move the light to where the crunch came from.
You immediately feel the need to gag as the entire wall where the bed sits is covered in hairy gray mold. It rises and peaks as it crawls its way down from the ceiling towards the bed, where it clings onto the sheets and up to the pillow.
I am scrambling out of this bed as fast as I possibly can.
You do, and the sheet sort of falls down, and you can see now underneath it, the entire bedding has these sort of hairs sticking up out of them with small black bulbs on them.
What the fuck is this? I'm backing up away from the bed and towards the door, like just kind of feeling behind me with the flashlight on the bed to try to get to the door handle.
As you reach out and touch the door handle, you notice as the light brushes up against you that your hand is completely covered in this thick, hairy mold.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this? I'm searching for my water bottle to see if I can pour it on my hands.
You find it, which is also, you sort of like grab it and it's like grabbing a wet mat.
I try uncapping it as fast as I possibly can, and can I get it open?
You can, and notice that there's no water inside.
I go to the mirror. Is the mirror covered as well?
No. And as the light shines on it, you see that it's grown up the side of your face and sort of reaches into the corners of your mouth.
What do I do? Do I see the door?
You do.
I'm
Both
gonna
of
turn.
them.
Both of them? Like
The one near the bed has the mold crawling out of it. And as you can see for a brief moment, it almost appears like it is physically moving.
and that door's closed.
Yes.
And then is the door to get out of the room is behind me or around?
It's behind you.
I'm gonna go for that door just because I see the other one growing mold.
And as you grab it, you turn the handle and it snaps. And spores puff out of the hole where the handle was.
I'm gonna use my elbow to try to throw my body into this door.
You slam into it as more puffs come out of the hole. We're going to go ahead and do a roll that we haven't done yet. Sanity.
I knew it. I was like, sanity?
So the way that this works is I'm going to give you two numbers. The first number is how much sanity you will lose if you succeed this roll. The second number is how much you will lose if you fail the roll.
Okay.
How much do
Lucky
you have?
for you, the numbers are 0 and 1d6.
Okay.
Hmm.
It's not awful. But I'm covered in mold right now, so just roll a sanity.
Roll a sanity.
A 50
Ooh,
versus
lucky.
55
Ooh,
success.
Close.
As you slam into the door and try to call out, you immediately get this panic of being forgotten. Something that has been left aside to rot and mold as everything around it has left. And the size of the mold and the amount that has creeped into the room and onto you means that you've probably been here for a while. But you grab on to those fleeting happy moments that you experienced the day before and calm yourself just a bit.
I take a moment and I close my eyes after I bang into this wall. And that fear of just being left to rot in a room with nobody who cares or nobody who checked. And I try to notice that, and I just try to take some deep breaths, even though it's counterintuitive to the fact that there's spores in this room that are apparently infecting my lungs. And I just try to calm myself down till I get my heart and my breathing rate to a calmer place before I open my eyes again.
And as you do, Marie, Carl, and Nate, you are woken up by loud banging somewhere in the inn.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. I'll go check.
Okay.
Carl will grab their jeans and put them on and pull a shirt on. It's like a white t-shirt. And open the door to their hotel room and look around and see if they hear anything else.
I think you might also see Nate having sort of crept, still wearing the exact same clothes that you last saw him in, just sort of like looking out as well.
You heard that too?
Andy,
Carl.
Yes, yeah, Carl. Yeah, I heard it.
Do we know where the sound came from?
You're not too sure, but at this time, Laura, now that you've calmed yourself, you can hear muffled voices through the recently grown padding in the room coming from out in the hall.
When I open my eyes, is the mold still there?
Yeah.
Help! I can't get my door open and is anyone out there?
Do we hear this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to take off running
Yeah.
for Laura's room.
Carl will be in tow.
You get there
out of bed.
fairly quickly. It's like a door
Get out the
away.
door.
So you stand in front of number 3, and you can hear Laura calling out from inside.
Can I try to open the door?
And it opens. And
Laura, you okay?
as the light shines in, you see Laura standing in the doorway, panicked, but otherwise fine.
Is it the mold? Did you see the mold?
Carl will come over to like the front of where they are.
There's so much mold everywhere.
There's no mold.
There's just the walls.
Can I do a check
On
to
me?
try and can I start looking for mold, like scouring the room?
Yeah, you can turn on the light as well.
Okay.
There's no mold.
There's fucking mold. And I like touch inside my mouth because I saw it growing in and it's going through the door.
The door's fine. Look. Nate just turned the light on. It's Laura, right? You're gonna be okay.
Get in. When I look
Looking-
around now, is there...
As Carl is talking to you, the spores in the air almost drift away for a moment. And almost like when you think that you have a bug on you, it like you feel this creeping along your skin. And as you're pulled back into your mind, you realize that your entire left side had fallen asleep while you were sleeping. And that tingling sort of creeps back into your body. And with it, the mold fades.
I'm sorry. I think I had a bad dream.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's
Would you like a
embarrassing.
hug?
Yes, I would like a...
Carl
Nate's gonna
will-
just give her a big hug.
Give them space to hug.
Just feeling that comfort of just somebody I know and that I didn't just die alone. Slowly.
Give me a spot hidden, Nate.
All right.
Ooh.
Let's see. Spot hidden. Got a 35 in total. Let's see. Come on, Nate. Come on. Ah, 77 versus 35.
Your intentions to find anything amiss in the room are almost immediately dashed as Laura sort of sinks herself into you.
I think I'm gonna focus on Laura, and and seeing nothing. I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna go into like caregiver mode. I don't know that Nate has had a lot of training in this. Actually, no, I think he actually has. I think one of the jobs that Nate did was probably working at like a nursing home, caring for the elderly for a bit. And I think that he sort of calls on that and just goes into a full like, shh, it's okay, it's okay, and maybe even starts humming like a comforting tune.
You can notice like it was panicked breathing, but it starts to slow.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of as Laura comes back into her reality and feels the left side of her body start to regain touch, like looks up at Nate and then looks over at Carl. Thank you for coming to check on me. I'm sorry if that was weird.
Do you sleepwalk a lot?
No, I don't. I have a lot of nightmares, but just, like the run-of-the-mill nightmares, the ones that you didn't finish a class in college, or you forgot pants, or
I get that one.
you disappointed your parents. Just like
Got
that.
invited on a talk show and then they were mean to you.
I haven't had that one,
Me neither.
but I believe that's plausible. There was
did Marie end up joining?
Yeah. Around this point in time, you see Marie come into the room slowly, with a glass of water. You might need this.
Thank you. I'm sorry. The rooms are so close together.
That's okay.
There's mold. There's mold everywhere. It was on the walls. It was on my bags. It was in my throat.
Ugh.
I mean, I'd be screaming too.
Yeah, that sounds
there's no
gross.
mold now.
And
Yeah, I can't see any mold now.
Yeah, I didn't see any mold.
can I scan the room? Like, like kind of in a panicked scan the corners way.
Go ahead and give me a spot hidden as well.
Thank you for the water. Out of
Welcome.
43 versus 45 success.
As you sort of scan around, processing that all of the mold that you had seen is gone, you see just in the corner of the ceiling where the wall meets it, just over the bed, there is a small bit of water damage where a little bit of mold had grown.
There is mold.
Oh, I can scrape it. Do you want me to scrape it down?
Is it black mold?
Oh, maybe.
Does it look black?
It is black.
I'm just gonna like pull up my sleeve and then just scrape it. Just
Don't breathe it in.
oh, I'll pull my shirt up over my nose and then finish scraping it off.
It comes away pretty easily, but you also like scrape away some of the wood, and it leaves sort of that like raw, paler wood underneath, and you can see a bit of like spores lodged in it. Unsure where the source is from.
Well,
Maybe you
that's no
should-
good. You can't stay here. Why don't you come bunk with Carl and I tonight?
I couldn't do that.
Oh, you could. And I am already bringing Laura to her new room.
Y'all think I'm crazy, don't you? I mean, I feel like I'm a little crazy.
No, not at all. You know, when I got my head banged up, I swear I saw some wild things out on that lake.
Was it mold trying to get inside your mouth?
It wasn't mold, but it was something trying to get me. That's for sure.
It's on my hands. It felt so, like, it felt real. It didn't feel like a dream. Like when you wake up and you kind of, it all fades. It felt more like I was touching it. I could feel it. I could feel the furriness of it.
Oh, I hate when dreams are vivid like that.
Can I take Laura's hands? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh, can I just take Laura's hands and sort of like, partly out of like me actually checking, but also partly just to be almost like a parent being like, the kid's like, there's something under the bed. And the parent's like, all right, well, let's check under the bed. Can I like take Laura's hands and sort of inspect them a little bit and see if I can see anything under the fingernails or in the nail beds at all? Or on her hands?
There doesn't seem to be anything there.
Then I'm just going to sort of hold them as we're sort of walking down the hall, and Marie can continue.
I mean, it sounds like you might feel better if you have a really hot shower.
I don't know that there is a shower here. There's like a communal bathroom that's like also the bathroom for the bar.
When I went to get a glass of water, did I see anything?
No.
Shower? No? Oh.
I think this town is like, we're gonna make a tub and everybody uses the hot water in the tub.
Okay. That makes me think of something else too. When I came in earlier today, I was talking, when I had just left the two of you, I gesture to Nate and Laura, I was talking to Jack, and he said something about when someone feels it, we all feel it.
In relation to what?
I was trying to just make conversation about, the event that's going to be happening tomorrow, and he seemed so unhappy that we were here. He called us outsiders.
Well, we are, right? We don't live here.
Well, you don't see me calling Laura an outsider.
Why would I be an outsider?
It was an example.
I'm not sure. I don't get that reference, but...
Well, in college, I was new to the group, but they didn't call me an outsider. It's got a connotation to it, like a...
Right, okay, that makes more sense.
Like, you're an outsider. I don't want to mess with you.
You sure they weren't just trying to, like, say that, when someone's hurt, we all kind of feel hurt type of thing? Like, empathy?
The context was that, but it didn't... There were other layers. It wasn't just empathy.
Those two guys sitting by our table, we were talking soft about the weather.
They heard us.
I mean, you guys weren't that quiet.
My hearing is going, just being at all the shows. Do I talk loud?
No. Nate's gonna look around and see that we're just sort of standing in an inn hallway, awkwardly talking about how weird we think the town is, and be like, I don't think the walls here are very thick. Maybe we should just, call it a night. We only have to be here for another day, right? They're gonna take care of the will and everything tomorrow.
About that, there's a storm coming. I overheard some gentleman talking about it. They were saying that the town's gonna shut down, and they're doing some kind of talk in the town hall tomorrow about it.
So we have to stay with the other people then?
I don't know. But we have to figure out our car situation.
I can give you a ride. I will get you all in my car, and I will take you out after the wake tomorrow. And we can have a tow truck come and get your car then?
I guess if the storm isn't here, but it seemed pretty bad. I think they were trying to take some package to some supplies or something to somebody. I can't remember the name of the person, but I think they were on the lake somewhere, and they couldn't make it to them. So they just left the package there. I don't know how that's helpful.
I mean, I was in a small town. This type of stuff this place is weird.
The sooner we can leave, the better.
Yeah, I don't feel right here.
Are you sure
I vote
not just getting in your guys' head? My mom told me that you guys just haven't seen your friend in a long time.
Sounds like we've all been kind of having a rough time recently with dreams and stuff. So my vote is that we go to bed. We see how we're feeling tomorrow. Maybe if they can move things along quickly with the funeral and everything and the will, we can get out of here ahead of the storm. And if not, then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Should one of
Agreed.
us go to the town hall thing?
They did not like me, so.
I could go listen to it.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
If you're comfortable with it.
Sure.
Do
I think you
wanna
guys are
go
more
alone?
freaked out about being here than I am.
You spent some time with Liam. What? Did anything happen?
He just seemed like a sad kid who has been taking care of his parent for a long time.
Hmm.
He said that his dad was a painter and that he went by some other name. It was Rainer Gregory, something like that. I recognized the name because there was like books of art in one of the patient rooms, and I remember sifting through one of them. So
He
apparently,
got his art in a book?
yeah, and I guess he sold it a lot, sold a lot of art, and made good money.
He always did
Invested
like to
in
paint.
something too. Not sure what, but I think Liam's gonna be okay.
Well, if everybody's feeling okay and there's no more mold or bad dreams, I'm gonna go to bed. I am worn out.
Sorry to interrupt everybody's sleep.
It's okay.
No apology needed.
I am tired though.
Good
Good
night,
night,
everybody. Good night.
Night.
Good night, Laura. I hope you feel better.
Thank you. And I squeeze your hand before you head out.
Good night, Carl. And I just go back to the room.
And as you all make your way back to whatever bed you are occupying tonight, the doors close.
Is there like a couch or something in our room? Probably not.
Oh,
Okay.
Marie would like go into the bag that she made Carl drag up here and like take out the fluffiest cashmere sweater you've ever seen and put it on the floor for Laura.
And as,
Carl would
as-
offer to take the floor and would let Laura sleep in the bed. That's hilarious. I love that. It's okay. I'll sleep on the floor.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I've slept in supply closets. I'll be fine.
He's a healer, worried about you, of course.
You see how tired like Laura's eyes are, and it's almost like the guilt of taking the bed, but also just very grateful that I have a bed to sleep in and I'm not alone. So I crawl into the bed, and you can just there's a lot of gratitude in her eyes.
and after some awkward sleeping arrangement changes, we see the empty hallway of Tilly's Inn. The time once more is 3:16 a.m. We see a small room decorated in posters of bands and movies and superheroes, milk crates of XLR cables and interfaces, and all kinds of random tech sort of stacked up around the edges of the wall. A futon that has been pulled out, filling up most of the room in the center with some wool blankets and cheap pillows sort of haphazardly laid on them. We see Liam's coat dropped onto the futon as he lowers himself. He reaches his hand into his coat, digging around in one of the pockets, and pulls out a folded, weathered photo. As he folds it, or unfolds it, we see beneath the creases and obvious multiple viewings of this picture, a group of happy, smiling university students, chips held in each of their hands, and a flash. The date is Thursday. No, it's not. The date is Saturday, August 27th, 1994. The time, 7:38 p.m. The flash goes off, and the group sort of blinks against the picture, and we see Benjamin stand up and walk towards the camera, which sits on the bar counter of Marie and Andy's home. Wow, it's actually worked. Kind of turns it around. There's still 5 shots on the roll. Andy, Marie, you did find this thing in your new apartment, so I think it's only fair that you decide what we use them for before we take this to get developed and see what weird shit the last tenant got up to. We see the room is full of chips, drinks, and a few pizza boxes. Benjamin brought a couple bags of ketchup chips and a cooler full of cheap beer. Marie and Andy, would you please describe to us how you have moved around and decorated the apartment in the last couple days before the party?
Ooh, do you want to go first?
I think Marie is like trying to make it feel like an actual party. So to her, that means like having gone to the dollar store and bought paper, like crepe paper streamers and stuff, and took the time to hang them around the house. There's like multiple kinds of plastic cups and bowls littered around the room so that everyone could have exactly what they need for their perfect chip dispenser. But I feel like making the house a home was left more to Andy.
Yeah, I think Andy has situated the furniture into a way that's more like a space, like a communal space, rather than a space to like watch TV or anything. I feel like we don't have a TV. We just have like bookshelves with tons of books on them. And they're, of course, by like color. So you kind of see this gradient rainbow of books. And the furniture is what was in here before. We just kind of repositioned it around to be more of like a half circle type of thing that peers out to the balcony that's out there. And that's kind of like the vibe in there. I think generally it's as clean as they could make it. He's probably gone up with like a broom and gotten some of the dust and like the little spider webbings, and swapped out the paintings because there were like pictures on the wall. Probably moved those and put pictures of us on the wall.
Benjamin kind of like picks up the camera and walks over to you, Andy, and like puts it to your chest so you can grab it. Let me know if you want to ever sell that. My mom, she runs an antique store. And he sort of like plops down next to Laura on the couch and reaches into a bag and pulls out a sketchbook and a pencil.
Yeah,
what
Andy
does everybody
will
else
take
do?
it's like a little thing of film, right? That he found?
No, it's a full camera that you guys
That's a
found.
full camera.
And it was fancy enough to have a timer on it.
Ooh. Okay. Does it look like it's still, is it one where you have to like turn it and then you can see how many, you can see if it has any photos left?
It's got like the little window that you can see how many like shots are still left on the roll.
Are there any left on the roll?
5.
Okay, I think Andy says,
well, once everyone's here, we should take a group shot.
Kind of like looks around. Out of character, you guys just took a group shot. That was the transition.
oh, I was confused. Sorry.
the picture that we were looking at was the picture that you guys just.
I'm
just
an
took.
idiot, and it's like 1 a.m. for me. So
It's
sorry.
okay.
Okay. Switch back. Never mind. I think Andy sets it down and then grabs like a bottle and starts pouring a drink.
What
Okay.
is everybody else doing?
I would lean over and look at Liam, or not Liam. look at Ben's sketch, like what Ben, if he's gonna start sketching, just kind of like I'm reaching my hand into bags of chips, like shoveling in some salt and vinegar chips, just kind of like, what did you do?
He sort of like flips through a few of them. He says, there's a botanical garden near the, I started drawing some of the plants there. And he like shows you, they're a bit rough, but he's drawn some of the plants that grow there.
That's so pretty. I went there for the first time. Actually, I think the day I met all of you, that's where I was coming back from.
Oh, so pretty.
Okay, stop looking. It's embarrassing. And sort of like
What?
flips through a fresh page.
I think they look really good. I can only do stick figures. So
Okay, we gotta see that. You gotta give Laura the pencil. We gotta see this.
Are we gonna play Pictionary right now? It sounds like Pictionary's brewing.
Yes.
Well, Pictionary is not all that's brewing, okay? Check it out. I got a new mixture as I'm walking out of the kitchen with a full-on apron and like a vat of guacamole that I set on the table. And I'm like, I tried upping the lemon juice in this one. You know, give it a little bit more of that tang. Everybody let me know what you think, okay?
I really liked that jalapeno one you did. It was so good.
are you like known for your guacamole?
He's the guac master.
It is true.
For
I am the
real? Like-
master of the guac.
Okay. And I
Everyone-
Oh, I think there's a competition happening. I think Laura thinks that she might have some better guac than you. Do we
Maybe
have a
one
guac
day-
off? Guac off. Guac
Guac
off.
off.
Guac off.
You
we
come
can
for
do
this
a guac off.
You coming for my guac?
Yeah, well, I'll do a guac off, but let me try yours first.
All right.
And I reach for a tortilla chip and I dip it very carefully. It has to have the perfect ratio. Otherwise, you don't get the right flavors.
Please. My ratio is superb.
In the back of Laura's mind, it's like really, really delicious.
Oh shoot.
That's pretty good. That's up there in the guacs I've had, but I will try to make a guac one day and we'll see who the guac master is.
Oh, you got a guac
Oh.
off? Yes.
I will
See,
crush you.
Benjamin sort of like raises his hand.
Oh, Ben, you do not need to raise your hand in this house. Just scream. Just shout, what's up? Okay, maybe not, because our landlord, he's kind of freaking out.
I have a question, and this is probably going to make me look like a country bumpkin, but what is guac?
Oh,
I would
give
explain
him
it,
some of this
but-
right now.
Yeah.
It looks horrifying.
Don't think, just
Yeah, don't
eat it.
think
Like I
about
know
what it
it,
looks like.
It's
It's
like
not-
chili. It looks like vomit, but it tastes good.
That
It's the
Here,
vomit
here.
of the gods.
he kind of like closes his eyes. He's like, just put it. I'll open my mouth, and you just put the.
I'll get the
guac
right
in.
Put it in
ratios
his
for you.
mouth.
And I get it and I feed it to Ben.
I scoop up some guac with my hand and I smear it on his forehead.
That was
You get,
not
like,
me
roasting
for the
it into
record.
That's the
That
guac
was-
initiation.
That
That's
was
the
Marie.
chip,
You can look at.
the chip initiation. You get guacked.
Okay,
Oh.
I want to make a rule for future initiations.
All right, all
Do
right.
not use our hands. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This- the
sanitary.
sanctity of the guac.
sanitary.
The sanctity of the guac must be respected, and you have violated that. And now I'm going to need to scoop off that portion of guac because it is not fit for consumption for anyone other than you. And I scoop a
More
huge
guac
section.
for me.
I just I hand you like a very scooped up chip.
I have
mean,
to
double-
give you. I have to pay penance to the
Andy,
guac master.
Andy takes the chip and puts it on Marie's forehead.
I deserve that.
I mean, double dipping. It's like putting your entire mouth in the dip, right? You guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should each have our own bowl.
Yeah.
I got
actually-
some. I got little bowls. They're different colors.
Well, before
Should
we
we
get to
get
bowls, we gotta
ceremonial?
christen. I gotta do you, dude. I
All right,
scoop
all right,
up
all right,
one.
all right.
Yeah, I scoop up with a chip and just very carefully.
Oh, I feel it.
Everybody,
I feel the
need the song.
initiation.
We need the voices of the angels. There we go. And I
chips.
hereby christen you, guac disciple, as I like smear it onto Andy's forehead.
I feel blessed by the Guac Master.
Yeah, I'm the Guac Master, the Guac Prophet.
Andy, do Nate.
All right.
And Andy scoops some out of the bowl, and kind of like, I think as he takes the bowl from Nate, their hands kind of touch a little bit, if you don't mind. And for like a moment, and then he like slips the bowl from you, and he puts a big chunk on it, and he's like,
all right, Guac Master, you are now going to be christened into the chip cult. Are you ready?
I'm honored to be christened and inducted.
Come on, get the chant going. It is with this chip that I initiate you as the Guac Master, leader of the chip cult.
and he wipes this chip across your face, and then shoves the chip in your mouth.
Truly, our chip master will get us through any door that we may face in the future.
Yeah,
Walk me, Amadeus! Yeah! And I'm not gonna high five Andy.
Oh yeah, Andy like gives you like a really hard high five too. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those definitely one of those cling.
Yeah, your
ones
hands like, and they tingle a little bit because you high five too hard.
And stare into your eyes for a moment, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Benjamin looks over at Laura. I guess as the other chip initiate, I have to have the honor of guacking you.
I'm ready. Guac my
Is that a
face.
euphemism?
I only just learned what guac is, so I don't think I have the intellectual
Oh, you sweet summer
experience to apply
child.
it
Someone needs to tell
in any-
him what this could be a euphemism for.
And he like scoops a chip and puts way too much guac on it and like holds it at the ready as like a paintbrush in front of Laura. With this guac chip, I enter you into the
Chips.
bonded chip cult and just sort of like smears it across your face, and it like snaps off as he does, so you're left with just a little bit of chip hanging off your cheek.
I am honored to be a part of this. My family's going to be so proud of me. Thank you for initiating me to this cult.
I feel like
The
we need to
Church
take
of
another
Chips.
picture with this situation.
Guac.
Yeah.
Temple of Tortillas.
Oh.
The Synagogue of Guac.
Oh, I like that.
And Andy will set up the
Fortress
camera
of
again for
Chipitude.
another group photo where this time we have like guac all over our faces, and like Laura has like a little chip sticking out, like a little face pin.
Nice.
If
And
anyone sees this picture, they'll think it's like face masks or something. Not guacamole.
But we'll know.
Don't know which one my dad would be more upset about, to be honest.
Well, what's wrong with the little facial skincare? Have you never worn one of the masks? Marie's put one on my face before. There was one that was like a cat face thing. We were animals. It was weird.
And then it makes your skin smooth as a baby's butt.
It did. My face was very smooth. I could
Kinda
see
like looks at
why
his-
you ladies do that.
I
Looks at his
gently
cracked
stroke
palms.
I gently stroke Andy's face there for a minute, just like with my thumb, to be like, oh well, yeah, that is really smooth.
Right? Hey, it works.
What? I noticed what Ben said, so like I just kind of, maybe not softly, but not super loud. Why would your dad be upset about the picture?
Well, it was the cult or the face mask. He's kind of a traditional guy.
Oh, well, it's a
Yeah.
fake cult, right? This is like a fake. It's like it's a cult, but it's like a fake cult.
Yeah, it's so real. Come on, Laura.
I've never been involved in something more real.
Okay,
I mean,
It
how
feels
real
real.
was the guac on your face?
I guess that's right. So I guess I am a part of a cult now. So
For life.
Are we next session? Are we like summoning a chip deity or something like that?
Oh,
Yes.
What if a chip deity spawned and give us like unlimited chips for the rest of our life?
what
a
if
Dorito demon.
What if we used a chip on a Ouija board instead of like the little thing or whatever that you use?
And I can be the pastor of Pringles.
Oh, you're way too good at this.
Yeah,
Nate.
you're full.
Yeah.
You know all of the puns with the chips so good, man.
I'm the Cool Ranch King. What can I say?
Oh.
And it gives you like nugs for that one.
Yeah. That's all I say. That's just yeah.
The party continues as you all indulge in chips and use up the remaining guac. We sort of fade back to that room with all the posters and the equipment, and a tear drops onto the picture. I love you, Dad. I'm sorry it had to end up this way. I got them all here. I hope it's enough. And he flips the picture over, and it says, "The first official meeting of the Chip Cult." And that's where we will end tonight.
Oh boy.
Some ominous photo gazing there.
Yeah, I feel like Ben might have taken this a little too serious.
It had to end this way. That's like I got them all here. I hope that's enough. I don't know. I'm wondering what commission Benjamin gave Liam for his untimely demise.
Okay, well, with that ending, we hope that you all enjoyed this emotional roller coaster of today's episode. We cried, we laughed. I don't know what's in store for us next, but we're here for it. We want to first and foremost thank you for watching. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to this lovely cast for being here and just being awesome. We want to thank our supporter. Yes, thank you, Roll20, for making our lives easier. If you're curious how we do our rolls and all of that jazz, that is how it's happening. So, and it doesn't have to just be dice rolling games. It can be table games, it could be card games. You can make custom sheets. It's very, very handy. We also have some merch with the fall season. You might want to grab yourself a little Roll4It sweater designed by humans.com/shop/Roll4It, or a mug to keep your pumpkin spice latte nice and warm. And of course, we want to thank our supporter today, Jackson Decay. If we can get some roll love in chat for them, we would super duper appreciate it. And if you want to become a supporter just like Jackson, you can head on over to our Patreon and become a legend tier above. And you not only get to support an episode, but you get to play in a private GM'd game, which Kelly is currently being our GM for some of the games, so that's exciting. We also have a very, very fun, Halloween one-shot that's coming up that I'm sure some people might want to be in on the behind-the-scenes part of that because the GM group is going to affect the live game.
Nice.
Also, we have a whole bunch of other goodies up on Patreon, like our character sheets if you want to know our stats and things like that. And of course, you can become a Twitch sub, and that gets you access to videos in advance, as well as emotes. And if you have Amazon Prime, you could subscribe to us with your Amazon Prime, and instead of giving your money to Jeff Bezos, you can give our money to us. Well, like a portion of it. Kind of. And of course, you can head on over to YouTube and become a YouTube member, which you get access to some of those emotes. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or Patreon supporter, you get access to our private Discord, where I'm certain people are going to have some thoughts. What's your theory? What happened? What happened? Tell us. I'm curious. And of course, we understand not everyone can support us in a monetary way. There are lots of free ways to support us, like watching us here live, clipping. Thank you so much for all the clips. There were very many clippable moments today. You watching us over on YouTube, subscribing, liking, commenting, following us on Twitter and Facebook, liking, sharing, retweeting, and commenting. All of those things are free, and they do help the algorithms go whir in order to help find us so that we can keep telling more awesome stories with amazing characters. And with that, I'm going to let these wonderful people say where you can find them at, because not only are they just awesome RPers here, or storytellers, or keepers, I should say, they also do lots of other great things on the internets. So we are going to kick it off with our keeper, our game master. First and foremost today, Kelly, tell us where people can find you at when you are not making us emotional and also making us grossed out.
I mean, all the emotion was definitely you guys. You can find me on the onlines at The Mind Right on most social media platforms, or at Kelly Wright on some of the social media platforms, because I'm not very good at leaving one social media platform and spreading my spores out to the various other platforms. You can also check out you can also check out Tabletop Titties, where I'm the storyteller for Titties by Night, which is our Vampire the Masquerade game set in London, where everyone's playing supernatural investigators. And you can also check out Drinking and Screaming, which is the queer and feminist podcast that my love Shar and I do together, where we review horror movies and pair them with cocktails. And that's it. That's the end of my thing. Someone else can definitely go next.
Next up, we've got hello, I cannot talk right now. Katie Play, who plays Laura. That's a lot of play in there. Where can people find you at when you are not eating chips and spores?
Oh, God, the spores. I was like in my throat. I was like, that'd be so bad. I'm Katie Peters Plays. You can find me on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays. I've been doing some Baldur's Gate right now, as well as some Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So really keeping the variety going. Also, you can find me on 2 podcasts. I have Katie Hasn't Seen That and Quantum Drive. Quantum Drive is a podcast about the show The Orville that I do with my friend Rob. And then Katie Hasn't Seen That is movies I should have seen by now.
She's had the cast of Orville on her podcast. Ooh. Like, that is pretty cool.
It was.
Mr. Redenbacher was there?
Mr. Redenbacher was there. All the popcorns were there. No, but that's been a pretty cool thing. I know they haven't announced a season 4, but maybe someday, once all the strikes are done and everybody gets paid fairly. So we'll see. But I have a podcast called Katie Hasn't Seen That, where I watch movies I should have seen by now that are pretty famous, that everyone else has seen that I haven't.
Cremaster? No.
I haven't seen Cremaster. I mean, maybe I should add that to the list.
I'll come guest on. I haven't seen it either.
Oh, no.
Is it 7 hours?
The whole series is. I've seen one of them. I saw bits of Cremaster 4. This is a weird tangent.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, you can find me on most social medias at Katie Peters Plays or Play Katie Play. But if you just go to my Twitch channel, all my links are in there. So that's me.
All right. Next, we've got Jeremy Cobb, who plays Nate. Where can people find you at when you are not sitting in the snow with summer clothes on and learning about your love dying?
You can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Cobb1. It's Cobb with 2 B's and the number 1. Also on Blue Sky. Same handle. I'm on Instagram with at the Cobbmeister, and I'm on the podcast 3 Black Halflings, a TTRPG podcast. We talk about inclusivity and diversity in TTRPGs and nerd stuff in general, as well as do actual play stuff. I also am on the show The Quantum Reactor. I'm a co-host, which is essentially a sci-fi movie review podcast that I do. And I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/casualquestlive. We're streaming Fallout New Vegas, Deus Ex Human Revolution, and also Baldur's Gate 3. It's been a very fun time. Currently making some progress with romancing Lae'zel. We'll see where that goes. Yes, I'm playing a black halfling monk, Dennis Colespring, the Ghostwise Killer. And and also, if you want to play with me GMing for you, you can sign up for D3 at Sea. I'm going to be one of the DMs for D3 at Sea this fall. So if you want to hop on a cruise and play some D&D, or even play other games as well, I'll be running other games. Go to d3atc.com and sign up to play with me this fall. Whee! That's it.
Awesome.
I also forgot one thing because I'm really bad at promoting. But
go for it. Go for it. Well,
I recently helped launch Goodbye Volcano High, which is a very queer and very sad narrative dating sim / a bunch of other stuff, and it will also probably make you cry. So go check out that and purchase it, and then tell everyone I told you to.
Fuel your life with tears.
Yeah.
True GM way. And last but not least, we have Shar, who plays our lovely Marie. Where can people find you at when you are not being indicted into a cult and maybe having like a heartfelt time with your child? Maybe.
Good old Two-Face Marie having actual feelings and real conversations. I'm Shar. I go by she, they. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Charlene Bayer. I'm also the DM of Tabletop Titties, which I play with Kelly, of course. Margaret's guested. Jeremy's guested. We got to get Katie on there. It's every other week on Tuesday nights on Twitch at Tabletop Titties with double Ds. But also, this is coming out tomorrow, which is Thursday. So we got to do an extra plug because Margaret is going to be there on Tabletop Titties for our Vampire the Masquerade game.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah.
So make sure you come by. It'll be fun.
Yes.
Come play with us.
And I am Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. I do lots of things on the internet, and I will tell you about them on my social if you go follow me there. I also make games and video games for a living. I'm currently working on a project called Ashes of Creation, and you can find it at Ashes of Creation in all the places. We're going to head off and record an after show that you're probably not going to want to miss, so you should become a Patreon. And we will see you all next week with another episode. Don't drink any spores.